Hi, I'm Cori Panyard. I am the program director for our Navigator programs here at Learnwell Collective, and I have Dr. Melissa Shipman, who is our founder for Learnwell and also our principal, are leading the charge. You are an educator extraordinaire. You've had a lot of experience in and around the homeschooling community.
I have.
And so that is why we are here today, because we have talked before in another video series about the importance of community surrounding homeschoolers. It is just so not healthy for us. We're designed to live in community. And so anytime that we are going alone, it doesn't do good things for our hearts, for our minds, and then that seeps out. It doesn't do good things for our students. We need that community around us. One great way to do that is through co-ops.
Right.
But sometimes finding a co-op can be really difficult, or finding a co-op that matches your schedule or priorities. Like, it's just not always a match.
Right.
So we are kicking off a new series. It'll be a 4-part series on how to start a co-op, or we might call it Co-op 101, if you will. So with that in mind, if somebody's out there, they're feeling the need for community, and they're thinking a co-op might be the best way to go. It's a little intimidating to think about starting your own co-op.
Totally.
Where do we even start?
Well, you really do, before you jump into this, you do need to ask why you haven't found a co-op that you want for your children, what's available nearby. And so you need to be really clear on that why. Here north of Atlanta, there are probably millions of co-ops that have been started by parents who want this for their children. But there are times when I'll talk to someone even here locally that says, I just can't find the right one that's close enough that I want my kids to be a part of. And that's what you need to identify. Why not? And what's missing? And my guess is that if you're feeling that about the co-ops around you, other people might be too. And so that identifying what that is that you want in a co-op and that you want for your children will probably help you later find your people.
That makes a lot of sense. It also feels like that might be very motivating as we kind of think through. This whole first video is really going to be exactly what you just said. How do we find our people? Because you can't have a co-op without the people. Otherwise, you're still just you going it alone. So that's where we're going to start. In future videos, we'll get into some of the more logistics, the nitty-gritty stuff. But when we think about the finding the people, identifying that why feels like maybe that thing that could motivate you to keep moving fast, because this is a lot of work.
And it gives you the words that you need to communicate. This is going to be a co-op that, whatever that identifying and distinctive factor is about your co-op, that's really important to have those words.
You also touched on just knowing what you don't want, or what you're not finding, why what is around you is not a good fit, feels just as important as knowing what you do want. Whereas the knowing what you do want feels kind of motivating and gathering. I can search for these people, like-minded people. Knowing what you don't want is really clarifying and going to help put some guardrails, because if it's too broad, that's not going to work either.
Make sure you have both, though.
Yes.
Human nature, if we're surrounded by co-ops that aren't a good fit, the first words that might come out of our mouth are everything that we think are wrong with those co-ops. That's not going to
not always helpful.
Be very enticing for people to join you. So that may be what led you to wanting to start your own co-op, but make sure that you're able to frame that positively. I think that's good for you too, and your children, but will really help you in communicating with others what your co-op is all about.
Okay, I love that. So once we know our why, and once we know what is going to make our co-op distinct, what's going to separate it from any of the other competition, how do we go about spreading the word, the marketing, if you will, of gathering other people, letting people know that we're doing a thing?
I mean, number one is letting everyone you know about this. Everyone you know has people that they know that you don't know, and so just that word of mouth network, that's actually going to be way more effective than any kind of advertising or posting that you do. So if you're on social media, just put it out there. Hey, I'm thinking about starting a homeschool co-op for my children, and we're looking for other families who, and again, you'll say that positive, distinctive about your co-op. And maybe it's just something as simple who have children in the same grades or who also want to focus on X, Y, or Z or, whatever that might be. But you've got to get the word out and you need to be brave enough to put it out there. And I'd just encourage you to be brave and say what you're looking for. We're looking for 3 other families who might want to emphasize blank in their homeschooling in the next year to form a small co-op together. The other place where you can put it out there that a lot of people have found really effective are Facebook homeschool groups.
Absolutely.
Depending on where you live, there may just be one for your county or your region. They're generally state ones as well, but don't hesitate to put that out there. But again, I go back to your number one is word of mouth, because I think you're more likely to find like-minded families among your own friends and their network than you are just a post on Facebook. But I think a post on Facebook can be really, really effective.
Yeah, this is probably a moment for both and, right? Instead of just trying to lean one way or another.
It may depend on how big you want your co-op to be.
That's true.
It's an important question. If we're talking about co-ops, you're not trying to start a school. You're starting a co-op, so you'll have to think about how many children can we fit in my dining room, or whatever those practical considerations might be, and so that may impact how far-reaching your networking goes.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And we're going to talk about that in our next videos. All of those location, where do I do this?
Yeah.
What are my schedules? Who is teaching this lovely bunch of kids and what are they teaching? All of those kind of things we're going to get in next time.
Yeah.
But for now, well done. You've taken the first step.
All right, very good. We'll see you in the next video.